just say recording in progress. And then we start. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Me and the Randos. Today, Jay Morty is out, but we have a welcome guest, Jordan Snow. We're, of course, here with Cassie and Oracle. Everyone's in the building today. Um, Jordan, we would love to get you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I
This is why I don't like talking before
Right.
the podcast because he just went over.
yeah,
Look,
I've
you don't
yeah.
have to say anything like that. Just say like you're a nice super guy. You're like a real life Bob Ross.
Uh, okay, yeah, I'll definitely take that. Bob Ross, super cool guy, served in the Air Force as a drill instructor, screamed a whole bunch during that time, Guernica and everything like that. That's why when he got out, he decided, I'm never gonna scream again. Like, I'm not gonna do that. And then he pursued his passion of painting.
What?
Painting tiny little
The
trees,
the the
happy
guy who
trees,
did Happy
the
Little
happy trees.
Trees
Yeah.
was a drill sergeant?
Yes.
I think
Yes.
for the Air Force, they're drill instructors, but yeah, that was
Mhm.
him. Like
Mhm.
he did that.
I'm just picturing him like I cannot even picture the guy with the afro out till here
Mhm.
going like left, 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 right. Left. I can't
Yeah,
even imagine it.
Mhm.
That's
That's cool
crazy.
though. That's cool.
Yeah.
yeah. So I'll definitely take that. Like super cool guy. All about that.
Mhm.
I will say that Bob Ross had like one of the coolest haircuts on the planet. Um, when I had my afro, I was trying to be like him.
Yeah. When I got
It's
out of the military, I decided I'm not going to be cutting my hair short ever again. So I grew this, and then like while I was trucking,
Mm.
uh, I grew like the Duck Dynasty beard.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
then
my God.
yeah, I
You have
got over
it.
that pretty
I,
quick.
I I feel like we need pictures of the Duck
yeah, I
Dynasty.
know. We need to.
But yeah, I can see if I can send some of those. Like,
I always wondered when you have like the big bushy beards, doesn't a bunch of food get stuck in it and stuff like that? That's one of the reasons I always kept it low.
yeah. So like, no, that's not something that happens a terrible lot. Like once
I
your
don't know.
mustache gets to a certain point, you try and take a
Mhm.
bite of something, and you just end up like half your mouth is mustache, and you're like, ah. So then I
Exactly.
sort
That's
of
why I always cut like line it up as much as possible because it always goes in. But yeah.
yeah, and I've grown my mustache out with my beard just a little bit. I'm gonna trim all this down and keep the mustache and the soul patch here, and
Mhm.
kind of go for like a modified Doc Holiday. I'll start waxing my mustache again. So
Nice. And have it curl up and look like a villain. Like,
yeah,
What
that's it.
all right.
the
Awesome.
that'd be I would love to see the Doc Holiday look.
hmm
What do you remember what Doc Holiday was most famous for?
For saying, you're not I'm your, I can be a
I'm your
I'm
huckleberry.
your
Huckleberry?
Huckleberry.
No,
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
I can be a
He
huckleberry.
was he was
He
the
was a
one that
doctor.
saved everyone at
Yeah.
the OK
He was a
Corral,
doctor. Yeah.
at the shootout at the OK Corral.
Yeah. Because he was a doctor. That's why he called Doc Holliday.
Wasn't he a dentist? I can't
I have no
remember. Let
idea.
me check.
I don't remember. I just remember that he said, I'm your huckleberry.
Yeah.
From that time period, dentist is like a very loose idea of like what a
Mhm.
dentist was. Like,
Mhm.
Uh, I feel like I can't remember. Yeah.
Mhm. Jordan, just so you know, your camera's offline.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking through pictures, so I've got to like
Oh,
hold it
okay.
real close to my face. I thought that was kind of weird.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, he was a dentist. Yeah.
Mhm.
Doc Holliday. Anyway, so Cassie, why are you in the Caribbean all of a sudden?
Mhm.
I needed to reset. I need a reset.
Mhm.
I want beach views, sun, water.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
this is what I need to.
What happened that caused the need for the reset?
It was just it was a crazy weekend, a crazy week. Yeah, I've been through the ringer. So
Mhm.
I want to see calm waters,
And
happy trips.
how many calm, beautiful, sandy beaches do you have right now in Kentucky?
Absolutely zero, which is why we had to go with the back view. Like this is as close as I'm getting right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I have my pool is open at my apartment
Yeah.
complex, so
Oh, okay. Awesome.
yeah. So I'm having a pool party today.
You need to
So
go to like a wall behind the pool and just paint like pretty
yeah,
mountains
palm
and
trees
sandy
and stuff
beaches
like
and
that.
palm trees,
Yeah.
yeah, and just jump in the pool. Just be like,
Yeah. So I am having a pool party today, so hopefully that'll be
oh
as
snap!
close as it'll get. Yeah. Yeah.
You see, now you're not in Kentucky anymore, Khalil.
I know.
You're gonna
He
miss
would have been DJing. I would have had him
not
DJ.
just that, but like you could have thrown him in the pool.
Well,
When
we don't
when I'm
do
DJing, I
that.
can't be wet.
He can't be wet, so
You
we
know,
can't do that.
listen. I just want to point out that that's make believe. He is perfectly capable of DJing when it's wet, when he's wet.
They say sugar melts. I ain't gonna test it.
Yeah, honestly, because I'm sweet.
Well, that'll just make the swimming pool water sweeter.
Right.
All right, Dwayne,
But
I sent you
speaking of,
some
Jordan, you
pictures
have
of
gave
what
us
it
a
I
is.
saw.
list of jobs. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, he was just
I
saying
was
that he sent
saying,
me some
Jordan,
pictures.
you gave us a list of jobs that you have. We're talking about pools. Have you happened to be a lifeguard before too?
See what? I did get a certificate for lifeguard because I was actually a Cub Scout leader in the Boy Scouts. My friend Dennis had
Look
some
at these
kids.
Wait a minute.
pictures.
That's a, isn't that a Chihuly art piece? Where was this?
The camera is on the floor. I am doing a push up just over top of it, and that is looking up at the ceiling of, I believe, the shoot, I forget which one. One of the casinos in Las Vegas. I got to do a
Yeah,
layover.
this is a Chihuly art piece. Um, I don't think it was the Bellagio. Which hotel was it in?
You can
So
Google it.
It's
Let me
beautiful.
let me look it
no,
up real quick.
Chihuly is a glass maker that's
Mhm.
from here in Seattle. He has like a museum here. The thing that's interesting about him is he's actually blind. Well,
Oh,
or he was actually. I don't. Is he still alive?
It's in the Bellagio lobby. Yeah.
Oh, it
Oh
was
yeah,
a
so that
Bellagio.
was
Yeah.
taken at the Bellagio lobby. Like I
Mhm.
am doing a push up over the top of my phone and taking that picture while people walk around me. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's really pretty.
yeah. It only took like 20 seconds. I was trying to be very respectful of everybody else enjoying their vacation while I just like homeless personed my way around Las Vegas for a few days.
Oh, so yeah, he's
That's
still alive.
Mhm.
But he was born in September 20, 1941. So, but yeah, he is like a very famous glass blower, and he has like a studio uh in Tacoma. It's like a fantastic place to visit, but you have to see the artwork this man makes. It's crazy.
Mhm.
mm.
I'm always fascinated by blown glass. Like anytime I see it, like whenever like a bass sees like a spinner bait, they're
Mm.
like I'm always
You should, if you ever get a chance to come up to the Seattle area, let us know because there are lots of glass blowing studios all around here.
I was
Like
gonna
that's
say
a
that there's
very
a date
popular
night
thing.
spot that you can go for to blow glass.
Yeah, it's a very popular pastime here in Washington.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everywhere you look, you will see a glass blowing studio. In every neighborhood, except like maybe some of the northern neighborhoods of Seattle, you will find a glass blowing studio.
Yeah.
Like all over the place. It's a very popular pastime here.
Mhm.
That's interesting.
All right.
Oh,
One of the reasons
Cassie?
Jordan is visiting us today is because of Cassie's background. He wants to learn some Caribbean terms and phrases that he can use. And Jordan, why do you want to learn these terms and phrases?
okay. So everything that I've told you before sounds really cool, kind of badass, allegedly.
He didn't say it on
But
podcast though, so we didn't hear his whole military Navy
oh
SEAL
yeah,
training and all of
And
this
that
stuff.
all of that's top secret.
All this top secret. Exactly.
He can't
That's why
share
you
it.
can't put it on the
Mm-mm.
podcast.
Had a glance, like never got to do anything cool. I got to fire one javelin missile one time. So
And what do you mean you never got to do anything cool? You fired a javelin missile.
Guys
yeah,
nowhere.
I got to proactively spend all of my tax paying dollars for my entire lifetime in that one missile.
I have
People are
one.
just all like, "Where did my money go?" Like, I know exactly where mine went.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Did you hit the target?
Yeah, it's kind of hard not to. Like, it lasers the target, does all the Xboxy gamey stuff for you. I got to do mine where it does the Leviathan mode, where like the missile comes out,
And
goes
then
up,
shoots
and
up.
then hits from top down. So I got to do that like one time for like a company training field day thing or whatever. I was like,
So I
I
feel someone who launched a missile will find most of our life boring.
yeah,
Just putting it out
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I have a question
I
about
like
that
to
javelin
come
missile.
down. I like to come down from my mountain every once in a while, walk amongst,
The regulars.
the lesser people. So, like that. It keeps me humble, right?
Exactly.
Like no,
I heard that
absolutely.
there's this
Like, you
TikTok
guys
that's going
are a
around with the
thousand
javelin.
times cooler than me.
There's a TikTok going around with this javelin missile that once it's locked on target, you have a minute to shoot it or something like that. Otherwise, it blows up. Is that true?
Yeah, that sounds wildly unlikely.
This is what I said. There's a TikTok about this guy who said once the javelin
Why
is locked on
do we
target, you have a minute.
bring up things we see on TikTok? What,
Because
like,
TikTok has a lot of good news, good stuff to learn.
I have yet to see someone say, "Hey, I saw something on TikTok," and then follow it up with something that's actually accurate.
Yeah, TikTok has a lot of accurate stuff, man. This week something happened. So this week I learned something on TikTok on Tuesday on my way home, and then it was re in someone else like a different source, different news source said it on my way into work,
Mm.
and when I went into work, it's a huge, big project that's happening between two Fortune 100 companies. And the thing I heard is that two Fortune 100 companies might be separated. And I go into work to a meeting first thing in the morning about the combination of those two Fortune 100 companies. And the person said in the meeting, I'm having problem with my login access, so we cannot discuss this today. That was the evidence that I needed to say that those two Fortune 100 companies are separated. I was like, oh my God, TikTok. First on
It's like when you show up to your job, like, why can't I get into my email? Oh no! Like,
Yeah.
you get the sad brown box, have to walk out. Like,
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
will
is a thing
say,
that
go
I
ahead.
did at is a thing that I did over at TQL, where Dwayne and I worked for a while. Like, I had an empty cardboard box that I drew a sad face and put sad brown box on it and just sat it in the seat of the person who last got fired, and I'd move it around every once in a while.
Yeah, dude, it was a
the
what I tell you was a big deal with people leaving and getting fired. It was a big deal because it happened all the damn time.
I had seen people removed from their positions of significant trust in the military that did not have the fanfare of people getting taken out of total quality logistics. Like, I had people lose command and have to resign their commissions,
um,
but there were like just short of armed guards walking people out at TQL. I'm like, does he have the notes? Like, what? What did he do? Like, why? Have I been brokering fate with Jason Bourne the whole time? Why do we have this many people? Like, we're like one dude with a trash can lid away from having a multiple hallway fight. Like, what's going on here? Like,
No, I get that. But like I've seen some weird like firings before too. Like in some of the companies I've worked for, like but the oddest one was when a person just disappeared. He came to
What?
work and the person was not there. The person has been at work all the time, and we were like, oh wow, he's probably taking a long deserved vacation. And then
I
like about a few days later, like I happened to be looking at a police blotter because at the time I was living in one of the parts of Washington that it's been gentrified since, but back then it was kind of the ghetto. And uh there was just this thing that came on, and it was like, hey, this person, I saw the person's name. I was like, they're the police blotter. And it was just like, this person who was a director of this arbitrary company has been identified as the ringleader of a sex trafficking ring.
What? And that's the person you work with?
Yes. And the person vanished, and I was like, What?" And never knew this about the person, and I was like, like that was just insane to me. So yeah, I've seen some weird, well, firings
Mhm.
in my time. Wait, did we lose someone?
No, Cassie went to do something real quick.
Oh, okay.
When it comes to firings, I worked at a movie theater. Not firings, just people disappearing. I
Mm,
worked at a movie theater in Lexington, Kentucky, and the turnover rate there was at that time the craziest turnover rate that I've seen. So
mm,
many of my staff either got arrested or it was just wild. One of
mm,
my staff members, I'm not going to go into any details because it turned out to be a really sad story. But
mm,
at one point, she was world famous. This is not Kentucky State City famous. She was world famous for being like a super villain because she was arrested so many times. She had over 15 mugshots, and I was like, "What the hell?" So it was a big deal. And I did when I first met her, she was like this nice little calm girl. And then one day she was, that girl wants to fight me. She doesn't know who I am. And I'm like, it's okay. Everything is okay. I'll take care of it because I was her manager and stuff like that. And she goes,
mm.
she really doesn't know who I am. I'll take her out. And I'm like, so, and then literally like maybe 3 months later, it became a big thing on TikTok with because she, like I said, she was world famous for how many times she got arrested. And when I saw all of her mugshots, I was like, wait a minute, this is who I was with the whole time. She had over 15 mugshots, and in some of them she looked like the Joker. Some of them she looked like a little angel. It was wild, and I'm like, yo, it was so much cool. It was so cool to know I knew a supervillain. So yeah, but that's a whole other story, and I'm not gonna give any details because it does end kind of sad. And she was really cool, really nice, really sweet and stuff. So yeah,
You knew a
but
supervillain.
yeah, I did. But
That's
Jordan, let us
yeah.
know one of the main reason why you finally joining us today because he was supposed to join us for like the last year, but he has a newborn son who knows how to use tools. By the way, he was just telling us that story. His son Everett is awesome.
Wait, hold on. A newborn son who
He's
knows
about
how
to
to
be
use
two.
tools.
He
Not
knows how to use
power
tools.
tools. I'm not an irresponsible parent. Like just regular. No, my son, he's not two yet. He's what day is it? Okay, yeah, he's 20 months. He's not two yet, and one of his toys went dead, and I sat there on the floor with him, and I opened up the battery door, replaced the batteries, screwed everything back in, and after that, it was like one of those, I guess, like pivotal moments in his life, and he was like, stick fix toy. You must learn about stick, because like the next time one of his toys died, like he like slapped the door, like the battery door. He's like, and I'm like, oh, okay, sure, and checked it, like sure enough, toy's dead. I'm like, okay, he's made some kind of connection between these things. Awesome. So I got my pocket tool out, like my Leatherman, flipped open like the flathead, and I like handed it to him. And he like looks at it, looks at the Phillips head screws, looks back at me, hands me the tool back, like just kind of pats me on the shoulder, like, you poor sweet simple man, like you don't get it. Like I need the one that does this, not the other one.
Mhm.
Get with it, Dad. And I was like, well, dang. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Like, yeah. So, like, he can fit the Phillips head into a Phillips head screw. He
Mhm.
does not have the strength. Like, he's got the dexterity to go through the motion, but he doesn't have the strength to actually twist it yet.
Mhm.
So, I'm gonna have a lot of dismantled appliances very soon.
So I was just gonna say, because you can ask my parents, like when I was a kid, they used to have these little playpens they used to put us in, and like apparently I had a toy screwdriver where I was trying to jam it in and open the playpen with with a screwdriver. So apparently, the using tools is is something that we learn at a really young age.
Yeah, like Megan, my wife, she sent me like pictures one day of like him like messing with something, and I was
Mm.
like, "Why are you surprised? Even monkeys use tools." Like, I mean,
Mhm.
let's just be glad he's not trying to get ants with a stick. Like, I mean, that's a whole nother bunch of problems. Where do you even go to about that? No, so like, yeah, coming out of like the new parent fog, right? Like, the days are long, but the years are short. You know, I look back and I'm like, he used to just be a little sentient potato I'd hold in my hand, and now he's like a little dude just walking around like, all right, uh, okay, yes, sir. Like, so we're doing that. So coming out of the parenting fog, like I'm getting the opportunity to like play Dungeons and Dragons again, which I'm super huge on. Love Dungeons and Dragons. I used to volunteer and DM over at the East Side Branch library over there in Lexington. So,
I have a question. I have a question. I have a
yes, sir.
question. Okay, so when you DM, do you actually have like the spooky voice to go with it?
Oh yeah, I do a whole bunch of different voices. I do those like, you know,
Which one is
everything.
your favorite? Tell me your favorite one.
Let's see here. I recently ran Curse of Strahd for my players in
Mm,
a home game. Not the library one. I
mm,
ran Curse of Strahd, and when I did that, I wanted to be extra or different. So basically, what I did is every time I was being Strahd, I was just trying to like channel Negan from The Walking Dead. I thought that kind of like our charisma character would work really well to be like not Dracula.
mm.
Um, and it infuriated and scared my players. And I was like, that that's it. So like one of my players, Megan, my wife, she was
Mm,
playing a Asimar, which is like an angel kind
mhm,
character, hunter. She was playing a ranger, monster slayer, which
mhm.
worked out perfect for the campaign. It was a very like supernatural, like Dean Winchester kind of vibe for her. She was doing that. And I can't remember exactly what she said, but I just kind of turned around in like the Strahd Negan thing. And I was like, excuse my fucking French. Did you just say to me, little lady? And then I did the paralysis glare at her, and it was just like, you know, like so trying to balance like this air, the aristocratic like has the Ravenloft castle sitting above Village Barovia, you know, like terrifying the villagers, like being able to bounce between that and like
Mm.
bringing out like, and this is Lucille, and she's fucking awesome. Getting to do that, like that was a blast to try that one out. Um,
How long have you been playing D&D?
Oh wow. Yeah, I got super popular
Mm.
growing up in middle school. I got to start playing Dungeons and Dragons. Uh, and yeah, it never got better. It just kept
Was Dungeon and Dragons like the original role-playing game, or were there some before that?
yeah, so TSR was 1974, I think, and that
Mm,
was pre Dungeons and Dragons. TSR was a tabletop role
mm.
playing system. Before that, people were doing reenactment battles where like they build like the huge terrain scale
Yeah.
model,
Mm,
have military units, and they move them like using tape measure and everything like that. And they would just recreate existing battles that had happened, and that was like super fun. But
mhm,
then they were just like, well, what if we did that for like Lord of the Rings battles? So then they tried doing that,
mm,
and then that evolved into like, but what if I had like a hero character, like very Dota, right? Like, what if I had a
mm.
hero character like Aragorn and I would play as them for this? And then it just kind of scaled forward on that. So
And then
when
that's where the whole concept of
Mhm.
parties and things like that came out.
uh, yeah, because
Mm,
TSR originally when they wrote out their pamphlet of like here's how to play this game, and then they
mm,
distributed it. Halflings, the race halflings were called hobbits, which of course
mm.
the Tolkien estate, very litigious at the time. Like, I'm not sure if they still are, but I don't want to risk it. Like, yeah, the Tolkien estate and the IRS. Like, I'll get in a fist fight with a monkey with a screwdriver in a parking lot at a Waffle House. I won't. Like, yeah. Honey Badger on meth wanting to get into Valhalla. Yeah, I'll take a swing at that. Like, let's go crazy. But like, when it comes to like the IRS or the Tolkien estate, like, no, thanks. I'm smart. I'm not. Yeah, so like that happened, and then of course like it just kind of like progressively like got into like the Stranger Things era where you had like Dungeons and Dragons, then Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and then when I came in, middle school era for me, because I'm old, that would have been late 90s, early aughts. Like 3.0 was what people were playing at the time, and then that ended up getting 3.5. So that's when I cut my teeth. So I've been in since then. But now we're at like 5th edition, 5.5 kinda, because like there was the 2014 rule set and then the 2024 rule set came out. So yeah, that's more or less what we're talking about, what I'm into, like could have been fishing or firearms, because Western Kentucky, but like, no, I got
Those are the only two other options. Which one did you choose, Cassie? Fishing or firearms?
Firearms.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the American way.
Yeah. America.
Yeah. Cassie, if you ever want any firearms instruction, shout out to the Bulwarks. They are a company that does firearms training here in Kentucky. And I also got weapon craft instructor certified through the Kentucky Army National Guard, and I've taught several firearms classes. Again, Cassie, like I said, farcical. I've done a lot of silly stuff. Like
not silly stuff.
We're gonna disagree on that whole silly stuff thing.
Yeah,
because everything I came in halfway through the stories
the
you've
resume.
been telling, and I was just there like
yeah. But pistol, rifle, shotgun, anything
javelin.
Javelin, yeah. So like you were talking about like why do we listen to like TikTok and everything like that? Like the number of times I've been in the field trying to figure out a weapon system or something, and I've had to do Dr. Google and Nurse YouTube to figure it out. Like again, here I am just like with my cell phone, like it is wildly irresponsible that they let me do any of this. Like
you're on YouTube like how to launch this javelin missile. And then
so
someone's like, go ahead.
When I was a gunsmith for the Kentucky Army National Guard, they sent me to Barrett Armor School. So the Barrett sniper rifle, like the cool 50 cal.
The Barrett, 50 cal.
Yeah, that one. So I got to go to like their school to like learn from them. And like one of the guys that was like teaching it, he was just like, yeah, have you guys ever seen the YouTube video where like a squad of Marines, like their sniper rifle stops working like in a firefight and they called customer service to like talk to them? I'm the guy that talked to them. And I was like, oh my God, like
that is insane.
Yeah. So again, like just a bunch of that stuff, like you're just sitting around like doing the thing and you're just like, wow, who forgot to raise me? I should write a song to whoever should have produced a responsible adult. Like, cause here I am like trying my best. Like, yeah, so that, but yeah, if you ever want any kind of firearms instruction or anything like that, anything short of helicopter insertion and explosive breaching, I got a guy who can do that. But I got
a guy.
We'll keep it simple. We'll keep it simple.
So like this sort of stuff, I try and stay in my lane. Like I'm more of a like like a firearms 101, or I've never touched a firearm before, and I'm going to a CCW class. Like what do I need to know? Like I love teaching that stuff. But I can do like some basic room clearing and stuff like that. So if there's anything you're interested in, great. If it's something other than that, or you're like, I want the advanced stuff, like I want if you don't want off brand and you want like actual Coke, like yeah, I can tell you like all about the good schools that are
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
are in around.
I'm just looking more for like a Foxy Brown, Foxy Cleopatra vibe. Like, somebody try me, I pull like a small gun out of my purse or the back pocket of my bell-bottom jeans and just like I'm looking for that more of a vibe. So I don't know how you
I didn't
can.
raise no fool. My daddy didn't
Yeah.
raise me at all. Like, yeah, drawn together. I love that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the violent vibe I'm going for. That's about as violent as I just want to pop out and be like, watch out, you jive turkey. Like that's right.
Wait,
Yeah. So
do
hold on.
people
Moment of
still use
disclosure
the
here.
term jive turkey?
Moment of disclosure here. Just wanted to point out, like, I'm a white guy with the last name Snow. And I look like the generic starting character on most video games. Like, if if anything comes off as cross when we talk about like racial things, like just please keep in mind, like I'm a really nice, sweet guy, and I don't
Exactly.
even nothing, and I will never survive court. Like people will take one look at me, and the jury of my peers will be all like, "Oh yeah, he owns
Yeah.
khakis and a white polo. I bet he likes
Yeah.
tiki torches." No, don't do that to me.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, you've already passed the test.
Yes.
You've been identified as one of the cool guys.
From day
So
one, man. I've been trying to
Awesome.
get him on the podcast for more than a year. That's the truth. Trying to get him for a long, long time.
Yeah, and like I've been like following you guys on TikTok. Like I always, sometimes I comment, I always throw like the heart, thumbs up,
Yeah.
share it, repost. Like I do
Appreciate
all that
that.
stuff. But like when Dwayne was originally trying to get me on there, I was like, hey man, I'm just gonna go ahead and put that out there because I know you don't notice this sort of stuff, but I've got to be aware of it. I wear a lot of sunscreen. I don't know if that's
It doesn't matter.
what
Once
you
I
want
think
on
you're a
the
cool
show.
person, come on in. Let's hang out. So yeah.
Yeah, this is a podcast of inclusion.
Exactly. I
Randos.
bring
We
everybody.
take everybody.
Yeah. If people would know the amount of people that I've invited to this podcast, but it's literally just scheduling. The amount of people that have invites to this podcast is crazy big, but I can't get everyone on because of scheduling. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
there
initially,
was
I'm just trying to point out to Dwayne, I was just like, hey, if like somebody was trying to draw me with crayons, they'd have to have like the 64 pack of crayons. They have the each colored one, right? Like, are you sure? Are you sure? I don't want to invade your space. Like, I think you guys are great. I love watching, but like, oh,
Oh no.
no, that. Yeah, which brings me to the topic that I wanted to bring up with you guys
Mhm.
is that I have an idea for a character I want to play in Dungeons and Dragons,
Mhm.
and I want to make sure that I'm doing it respectfully, and I
Mhm.
want to make sure that it is appreciation and not appropriation. Does that
Mhm.
make sense?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay,
But
cool.
just so you are aware, like the place that the island we grew up on is like a melting pot of like so many different people from so many different countries, and they all have like a Caribbean accent. Like you will go into a supermarket and you will meet a Asian person and you will talk to them and the patois will come out and you'll be like, I wasn't expecting that.
Mhm.
Or
Mhm.
you'll go to like one of the boat stores and like
Mhm.
you'll see someone whose family they grew up here in America and they look just like you
Mhm.
and the Caribbean accent will come out and like oftentimes when I bring people to the Caribbean and first of all, they get surprised when they hear my accent come out because, like, I don't usually speak with a Caribbean accent when I'm not in the Caribbean. But we'll go there and, like, they'll be walking around and be like, "Holy crap, I wasn't expecting that! Holy crap, I wasn't expecting that!" Like, for people from the Caribbean, or at least a diverse island like we're from, like it's harder to say like that's appropriation when there are so many
Mhm.
different people who grew up in that environment.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, one of my cousins, Alex, and his sister Aaliyah, like they were
Mm.
both adopted Korean children. But
Mm.
again, like my entire family looks like
Mhm.
me, and mostly we sound like this. Um, so like you
Mhm.
slipping into, your Caribbean accent, like when
Mhm.
I'm on phone with like people for customer service. Hey, hun, how you doing? Nice to see you again. Glad you're here. Perfect. Welcome to Best Buy. Come on in. We got the home theater over there, y'all. Yeah, like I can just slip in and out of that like as necessary, or like sometimes with my granddad back when he was alive, like every time I'd walk into his house, like it would just be like, "Hey, Pop, how you doing? You all right?"
Yeah, that's
I'm
the
going.
same thing with us. Like
Yeah.
there's little hints of it, but like as soon as we get home, people are like, "What did he say?"
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
just changes
My
completely.
accent, sadly, is like this all across the board. I have no control over it.
Um,
So
Yeah,
even when I'm
Yeah.
in
so
the
this is
Caribbean, I
part of
still
like the
sound like
brand
this.
consistency, like you
yeah.
don't.
What is this concept? The thing about it is like when he goes home, people are like, "Yeah, he's not from here," and he was
Exactly.
born
I've been
there.
getting that my
Mind you,
whole
he was
life.
born there.
I've been getting it my whole life because my
He was
accent is
born there,
always
and
sound
people are
like
like,
this.
"Nah, he's not from here."
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of like Jordan because I grew up in Harlan County.
Hmm.
So if
Is
I'm
that where
there,
My condolences.
the General Lee is from? Harlan County?
yes. Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
you mean the
Kind
car?
of, not, huh?
The General Lee? You mean the car?
I mean, I meant yeah, from Dukes of Hazzard. That's what I meant. Not the
The car.
general. I'm talking about
Uh,
the show Dukes of Hazzard. Is that from Harlan County? What
I
county is
think
Harlan?
so.
Let's
I
find
think
out.
so. I know where I'm from. That's where
but
Kentucky
but
Fried
but
Chicken
before
started.
we actually get
She's
too
from
far,
Kentucky Fried Chicken's headquarters.
before we get too far
Corbin,
down
Kentucky.
like the
Yeah,
other
absolutely.
before we get down too far down the other
Mhm.
rabbit hole, like
Yeah.
we still haven't given Jordan the chance to
Yes,
ask
exactly.
his question.
I'm curious too because I want to learn like he's learning. So we're
Mhm.
gonna learn together.
Mm,
So
Okay, so this is going to be a little spiel, little block. I'll
mm,
start, and when I'm done, I'll stop talking. That way, we know it's all out in the open, and we're good there.
mm,
Mhm.
So, uh, begin. Dwayne, mark it. No, I play Dungeons and Dragons. I have a character concept that I want to play. And the character concept is this: I want to play a druid, who is a Triton, which is like a mer person kind of thing.
mhm,
They have legs, but like fins, kind of an Aquaman type character. Don't know
mhm,
how familiar with, but Google. So a Triton character, and I want them to have a sailor background, and I want them to be on a either merchant or pirate ship. I really
mhm,
like the idea as far as like world crafting, world building of the idea of like there being a resident druid on most ships.
mhm,
Because like you would have somebody who could read the stars, read the weather, manipulate those things slightly,
mhm,
use mending to fix like sails or masts or also. I think there's definitely a lot of mileage in the idea of like there being someone like that. So I started coming up with this idea for a character probably around middle school, like, and originally trying to like, work it out and try and make that happen. I had enough, consciousness in my mind. I'm just like, yeah, maybe not until I get more information on this. Because the original concept was very like Calypso from Pirates of the Caribbean. I liked
mhm,
this idea of there being like, a druid on a ship that, just like you want to see cruel nature, I'll show you how cruel I can be, like,
Mhm.
something like that. And I really liked that idea. And I'm getting an opportunity in an upcoming game someone else is running, to play that character, and it would work really well with the party. But I
mhm.
just want to make sure like I can incorporate it without being, I don't know, clown shoes, I guess, like white gloves and a vaudeville show. Like I
Mhm.
don't want that.
Yeah.
Because the opposite of that is I have had a game where someone wanted to play a it was never really defined whether it was a trans character or a homosexual character.
Mhm,
Mhm.
And in session zero, like talking it out with them, like they were like, I want to explore this character. I want to see how this works in the world. And I was like, yeah,
mhm,
that's wonderful. I love that beautiful idea.
mhm,
And then when we got to table and we started playing with other characters, it
mhm,
became very, I don't think it was necessarily offensive, but it was very stereotype. And I'm like, this is
yeah.
Mhm.
not what we talked about. I don't
Mhm.
think this is what you originally wanted, but you're leaning really hard into this one thing. partly playing to the table, I'm sure, but like, you got to be fearless. You got to dive in. If you want to do this character, awesome. If not, we need to make some changes because I don't like where this is going.
Mhm.
Which that's the kind of DM I am. Like, I want a bunch of people to come together and co-author a really cool
Mm.
heroic story. And I don't really think you can do that with that type of character.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So uh,
And
a little known historical fact. Most of the pirates and privateers throughout history were European sailors. So like they had accents similar to um, the country they came from.
yeah,
And so oddly enough, even though you have this portrayal of Caribbean people, like pirates being like these people with the army mateys and all that stuff, like there was likely no pirates that actually spoke like
Mhm.
that.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, there's
So
like
it's
in
it's
historical context, like you
mm,
have, the tale of like Jacquard, or you
mm,
have Cortez, and of
mm,
course you have from Korea there was the pirate queen
Mhm.
lady, like, so yeah, like whole gamut of things, like,
mm,
but for me, like, trying to like put that out there, like, I like starting off with a big block of marble, like,
yeah.
here's the
Mhm.
concept stereotype
Mm,
thing, right? And then I want to chip away at all the essential or inessential stuff to get to the statue that's underneath, like, and here is a fully fleshed character concept. Like, I have
mm,
no problem in my game, in my homebrewed world that I've been using, this whole time, like, Dragonborn are
mm,
mostly Grecian. They live on the Chromatic Isles,
yeah.
and they have
Mhm.
this concept of Xenia and home and generosity, right? Like,
Mm.
I've made elves Japanese. I want them to be apart and feel slightly above from the rest of these poor, sad, mortal creatures, right? Like,
Mhm.
um,
You
you
know,
know,
so oddly enough, when I went to Japan, um, I discovered that Japanese people that I've met are actually like very much kind of like the opposite of that. They're very like extremely respectful. They defer a lot to you, and like they are. It's a strange place. So let me give you an example of what I mean by strange.
yeah,
Um, if you like the person I was traveling with in Japan, I was sick one day, and she decided she was going to go out and get ice cream and bring it back, and that'll help me. That'll at least make me feel better. And almost everything you eat in Japan is delicious. So like she really wanted to try some ice cream from Japan. So she went out to the ice cream store, but it was like a really hot day. And when she was walking back, the ice cream on cones started to melt. And so it started to melt over her hands and then started to drip on her clothes. And two Japanese ladies came up to her, took her ice creams, put them inside plastic bags, sat her down, and started cleaning her with wet wipes. Literally, just head to toe clean all the ice cream and everything off her clothes, off her hands, and everything. Hand her back the bags and said, "Have a nice day," and left. That was the entire interaction. They told her nothing else.
not all heroes wear capes. Some have wet wipes. That's what
Mhm.
Yeah, like that is the kind of people like it. Like
And they just
we
happen to have plastic bags on them?
no, they have. So something else you'll notice in Japan is when you go and you shop, they like package the crap out of everything you buy. Like I went to buy a souvenir and I was like, I want to say and look, they'll take it from you, they'll gift wrap it, and then they'll put it in a normal bag and then put that normal bag in a decorative bag. So like you get if it is insane how much attention to detail they put to everything they do. So um it was really crazy because I remember like I I dropped something that I carry a lot of camera equipment and I forgot something somewhere, and someone found it and they took it to a centralized location in the little village we were in, and then they started spreading the word to look for the person that lost this. And so I was like, crap, I can't find this thing. And someone overheard me and they were like, oh, we know where it is. And they took me. And that's the kind of thing that here in the United States, if I dropped camera equipment or left it somewhere, like you drop your
Free
wallet,
camera
you don't
equipment,
even hear
everybody.
it hit
Yeah.
the floor.
Mhm.
It's gone before it hits the floor. It's like someone's there waiting to catch it. Like it's a completely different culture over there. It's insane. So it's really like I always thought when I went there, they would be like, their nose all high, and they turned out to be the exact opposite of that when I went there. It was incredible. Um, but for Caribbean, if I had to pick an island that has like accents that would lend itself well to that kind of character, are you looking for like an accent or just like
So
what
I
kind of
will.
characteristics?
Yeah, so for my games, what I typically do, especially for like player characters and for myself, for
Mm-hmm.
just ease of gameplay, is I will let them know like if your character speaks in a specific accent
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that, like you can just say like, oh yeah, my character has this accent, it's very thick or it's
Mm-hmm.
light, or oh, like they talk normal, but every once in a while, like something just kind of like pops out.
Mhm.
You can just say that
Mm-hmm.
and that's just kind of the directive for the table. Like they'll talk in their normal voice for
Mhm.
however, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to do with this character, like,
Mm-hmm.
for most of the time, but I want to make sure like there are moments like to make the character feel more real, to make me feel like I'm engaging, like I want to have like, oh, this phrase or and I'll of course like Dr. Google and Nurse YouTube, like I'll look up
Mhm.
Yeah.
video and I'll do that, which I've done before for different characters. Like I'll listen to other people like talk because I can pair it pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have that kind of tism or whatever. But like,
Mhm.
So I think the two islands have an accent that would lend itself well to that kind of character is I think like something that has a bit more French in it,
okay,
like Haiti or like one of those islands, I think would lend itself well to a character like that. Expect do they're a druid, and Haiti has a culture very steeply that's steeped a lot in like natural remedies and things like that. So I think that's one that might be a good fit. But you could definitely look up what Haitian accents sound like. But if
okay,
you want something a bit more fun and more sing-songy, I think a Trinidadian accent would be could be a good one too. If you want the character to be a bit more excited, eager, likes to get involved versus the more reserve, keep to themselves, and just focus on their skill and magic I think, would be more like Haiti versus Trinidad. I think
Mhm.
are two places you can look into for like really good accents that are still understandable. That's a key
Mhm.
thing
yeah.
that lends itself to those kinds of characters.
Mhm.
What's your thought, Kalo?
I agree with those language with those accents. I
Mm,
also just shared with you a website that has a whole bunch of catchphrases.
mm,
So when you're making your booklets for the
mm,
mission that you're going to go on, there's certain catchphrases that you can use. For example, the most famous one, as I was telling you before we started, Netflix has a show called Top Boy. And because of the show Top Boy, the way how they greet each other, they go Wagwan. Wagwan literally means what's up, even though it's like out of Jamaica, but it's a default greeting now. In the UK, for example, there was a thing in the news that the majority of the youth in the UK all have Jamaican accents, even though some of them have nothing to do with Jamaica. They have Jamaican accents now because it's so versatile and universal now. So you can
Mhm.
always use catchphrases from other islands as well
Mhm.
and blend them into, like you said, you wanted to bring it into your general conversation. You could always walk into a bar, go, Wagwan. Everyone will know you're saying what's up. And but I sent
Mhm.
you a list just now with a whole bunch of phrases and sayings and stuff from the whole Caribbean, not just
Mhm.
one island. So you can get some diversity. And then what you
Yeah.
could do is you can make a list like if I want to say hello, if I want to say goodbye, if I want to say something doesn't feel right, if I want to say everything is great. Like there's a bunch of little catchphrases you can just pick from there. Pick a list of your greatest
Yeah,
hits.
that's
Say,
actually
yeah.
kind of cool. Some Jamaica is also a good island if like you really want because Jamaica had a lot of very famous pirates, right? Henry Morgan, Mary Read, and I think what there was one called Anne Bonny. Like there was some really famous pilots from Jamaica. So, but like I was like Jamaica is always the first go-to that
Hmm.
everyone goes to.
Correct. Hmm.
So like you know uh, you seem like someone who likes a bit more diversity and like don't want to go with like the standard thing.
Hmm.
So Jamaica is actually a good option. Port Royal was like a very big Caribbean pirate hub in the Caribbean, and like I think Henry Morgan was actually like the like either the governor or something of Jamaica for a while. Let me actually look up. I think for a
Hmm.
while he was actually like the governor of Jamaica,
Hmm.
and
So
And to go along with what, go ahead.
for my homebrew and my game world, I like to, have these like staple or these touchstone kind
mm,
of things based on different nations that I have on
Yeah.
the continent and for different races that I have peppered throughout the different nations. That way, like characters have like players will be like, oh, okay, my character is this, so I can try and work in that stuff. Or more importantly, like, oh yeah, my character is a half orc, and in your game world, half orcs are very Native American, live on the
Hmm.
northern part of the continent, but I want to play against type. My character, half orc, has more of a um, you know, more of a desert feel about them. So they
Hmm.
were
mm,
raised with the Tiefling Nation in Kasra, which is more of like an Arabic type
mm,
Hmm.
setting.
mm,
Because I like to include these different things, so if people want to play a different game, I don't have to constantly invent a new world.
Hmm.
yeah.
Like, oh, I want more of like the, Dungeons and Dragons 3.0 had a book called Oriental Adventures.
Mm,
And that was based more towards like, oh, I want an anime style game. Cool.
mm,
I've got a whole world for that. Or no, I want to explore like Avatar, The Last Airbender when they were, seeing sand benders for the first time. I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. I have Kasra over here. It's a nation of
mm.
tieflings, but all the other races are also represented throughout because people live everywhere.
Hmm.
Actually, have you seen Castlevania Nocturna?
Yes,
The second,
absolutely.
yeah, the second
Huge
season of the
fan of the
Cas
Castlevania shows.
yeah,
They are ripe with D&D fodder.
yeah. So like the Haitian woman in that show that like is a very good mixture of a mixture of a understandable accent that you could potentially use.
Hmm.
Like it is modified slightly so people can understand it, but that's potentially one that you can use as well.
Yeah,
Um,
another method that you can use is for your introductions, like when you're walking into a room, you can use terms like Wagwan and then say, now for everyone who won't understand my accent, then you go into your default speaking language, speaking accent. But you
mm,
just like when you're introducing yourself for the first time, you can use a Caribbean accent and then switch to normal so that everyone can understand you. But that's why I sent you a link with lots of sayings and you can
Perfect.
just pepper them in
Perfect.
from, and I made sure that it's diverse from the entire Caribbean, not just one. So you can work
mhm.
with that.
Yeah, I
Yep.
like the idea of my character, specifically for magic users. I like having characters to define like what does your magic look like, right?
Mhm.
Like so, two wizard characters, like one could be an evocation wizard, which is just your blasting wizard, like fireball, right? Like,
Fireball.
what does that kind of, aggressive, violent magic look like manifesting from your character versus, say, like an enchantment wizard? Like, what does your magic look like there? Like, oh, it's more flowing, curved, smooth lines of me manipulating the weave of magic around me before it coalesces into magic missile. These
Yeah.
spikes of all these darts of what look like to people around me a specific color for my character, and
Mm,
they look like bottle rockets when they hit or manifest, right?
mm.
Or
If I had to
conjuration wizard, like building almost in a Green Lantern style, like John Stewart, like, oh no, I'm an architect, I'm going to
mm,
draw all of the structure and then layer things on top of it until my golem is now there on the field, right?
mm.
So for this character, which in my mind, like I've named him Jace Kindar, like I
Mm.
want Jace to have um
You said it was a druidic class, right? A druid class.
Druid is the class. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why I think like high tea would be a very good thing because uh like
And
we
for these broad concepts that I'm working
mm.
with, like a little bit of grace. If I stumble upon anything that you're just like, we don't know, don't like, please let me know, like, so I can be
No, no, no,
Oh
no,
better.
no,
no,
you're
no.
good.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm not
Um
going to fight anybody to be wrong here, but like
wh-
I've played with this idea of like his magic like coming off as like a voodoo or hoodoo
yeah,
kind of like
correct.
Mhm.
smoky
And again,
greens and purples.
yeah,
Mhm.
so that is kind of again that ties in a lot to the why I think the high tea would be a good fit because like uh you would be surprised when I was growing up and like we had people from Haiti that are friends of my family and like you go to their house and like if you had a cough they would just go outside, go to like the nearest bush and start picking things and come back and make you a tea and like it is very like it's very druidic in nature. Like there if there is a Haitian person, there is a garden somewhere next to them where they have all of their remedies, all of the trees that they use on a regular basis. Like that is kind of the way they were the ones that we
Yeah.
grew up with. So I think it's a very good fit for druids, if I had
Yeah.
to pick
And
one.
and again, I like this idea of like druid on ship, right? Like doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily have to be pirate, but like druid on a major naval vessel. Like I think this idea of like him
Mm-hmm.
having like his own little space where he uses druid
Mm-hmm.
craft and nurtures like herbs and plants, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I
But
give
from the
these to
sea,
the
right?
wolf
Like
and
from
I give
underwater,
these.
seaweed and different types of plants that they find
Persians and stuff like
underwater.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
stuff like that could play in from his Triton background, from his race, but
Mm-hmm.
also just like, oh no, I keep this lavender here because it helps some of the sailors sleep and I brew it into a tea, or I keep this garlic here because we've noticed like when the cook uses garlic in a lot of things, like we don't have as many illnesses on ship when we're out for months at a time before we come back into port.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because like one major thing with all ships is like purification of water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, druids have a purify water spell. Like, I think that would just
Mm-hmm.
be the easiest way to solve 99% of the problems that you see, from real life historical context. Like, oh yeah, absolutely. Why would that not be a thing?
Mm-hmm. The is there going to be like I'm just curious in this dungeon. Will there be like a lot like I can't I don't know if this is a thing, but how is what is this dungeon going to look like in this in what you're imagining?
Okay. Yeah. So this is a game that's going to be ran. Like, there's going to be another person who's a dungeon master for this, and I get to be a
Okay,
character. So I'm not
got it.
sure exactly how that goes. I know for
Ah,
me, I have this game world, and when we start a new game or a campaign, like we're gonna have the same characters running long term in kind of like a serial style,
Mm.
TV show adventure type thing.
Mm.
When I do something like that, I try and like poll players, like, what are you looking for? Do you want like a Victorian era thing, like because I can set it over here? Do you want the Wild West because I have an area where I could put you over there?
Mm.
Do you want airships like a JRPG? Because I have a whole city state
Mm.
called Dermast that is just like all it is a giant library city is all it
Mm.
is. So in a library city, I was thinking like, okay, well, what is going to be like the major problem with that? Fire. Okay, so instead of there being a police force or a city guard that like mostly handles everything, oh no, I have this guild of firefighters, like a militarized version of firefighters called Dante's Guild, and I have them like policing this major city. There are specific
Mm.
areas where fire can be used, and then otherwise you have these canals where they've routed water through to create like these barriers between different sections. And the guy who runs the whole place is called the Grand Archivist. So like I play into these ideas and like who would populate this sort of place? Well, you've got a whole bunch of engineers because they want to be around like all the scientific materials. You have a whole
Mhm.
bunch of like, artists who want to get more involved with like literature, poetry,
Yeah.
everything. So bards are a huge thing there. And then just slightly outside of it,
Mhm.
you have some outlying cities that are just like, oh yeah, this is the city of Mills Right. All they are is a giant paper manufacturing mill. So we've got lumber operations going on all around here to all the way out to the sea that come back to here. And then we've got all these logging roads. So like I try and invent all these through lines and patterns to where like people can easily recognize like why this makes sense. But also they could be like, aha, okay, yeah, I guess police wouldn't be super important in a giant city of kindling. Like I like the idea that the firefighters are in charge here. So I normally poll my
Mhm.
players on like all that stuff, like, what kind of adventure are you looking for
Mhm.
here? So that way I can figure out where I want to set it. And then
Mhm.
I normally do 3 different plot lines, and then
Mhm.
I just see which ones the players grab onto. Because I like doing a big sandbox type thing. And for Dungeons and Dragons, usually they tell you like, look, if you want your players to discover this piece of information, you
Mhm.
need to have it in 3 different places because they will walk past the first 2
Mhm.
to get
Mm.
to that third one,
Yeah.
right? Like, um,
I got a
and that's
question for Cassie. Cassie, have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons?
Not one time in my life.
Mhm.
So, um,
Oh, I know someone who could hook you up.
yeah, right,
Mhm.
exactly.
Mhm.
And they happen
So,
to be in Kentucky.
in Kentucky.
I actually have a couple friends that
And
that
they
are
can
dungeon
also help
masters in
me
Kentucky.
shoot too. They can not only teach me Dungeons and Dragons, they can
Oh,
teach me how to shoot.
Mhm.
we
I
just
like
hooked that up.
diversifying, like I don't want to get into just like one thing. I also mentioned
Right.
fishing earlier. I have a canoe. Like we can definitely do that. Megan loves to
Mhm.
fish. She's better at it than I am.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
then another thing that
So
that Jordan and I had.
something else another reason why I think Haiti is a good accent, by the way, is because it's relatively safe. Because Haitian accents have very strong French
French
notes to
roots,
it.
Mhm.
Creole.
Correct. Yeah.
So it can all
and
so it can
and
all blend
so
in.
like you can actually pull off that kind of accent without like people going like, oh, this person is mimicking a Jamaican accent, or this person
Right.
is like,
Yeah.
it is a relatively safe accent. There's just some slight nuanced differences in it. Like I said, if you've seen Nocturna, like, she has it pretty good. And if you feel uncomfortable, then it's really easy to just go like, okay, you know what, I'm just a French one. And
Mhm.
then you can shift it over, and you can still stay within your comfort zone without deviating too much from the actual
Right.
character that you've
Mhm.
practiced. And you know what I
Because I,
mean.
I
Mm,
I want to give a good representation of
mm,
this. Still, this is a completely fantasy based thing. Like
mm,
I'm just trying to draw through lines to get the kind of to get the kind of reaction I'm desiring from the table, from the different players, like, oh, that's this character, right?
Right.
Like, and when I do all of that, I want to make sure, like, I want to make sure it doesn't get to the point like it did with the trans character in one of the games that I was DMing, to where it was like, hey man, like, stop. Like,
Mhm.
your character is becoming very one note. It's becoming very like, no. Like the thing that you're provoking from the other characters is not, it's not narrative based play, it's ridicule, and I don't like that being
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, like it's a very it's a good accent. It is well represented in there's some famous Haitian pirates as well. So that part is covered. There's actually a very famous legendary one that they don't actually have evidence that exists, but like lots of stories are written about about them. And then on top of that, the accent is very French, a little more guttural, but very French. So, like, if you want to practice French for something else too, that also contributes. So, helps you be multi-talented. And on top of that, it aligns. The people I know from Haiti very much align with what I would imagine a druid character from D&D would be like. So I think that that's a very good option for this character. It matches the pirate. They had lots of influence in the northern seas, of the Caribbean. They live a very druidic lifestyle. I think all of that matches your character very much.
perfect.
There's also a really good thing on YouTube where a lady actually reads storybooks like Harry Potter and different storybooks in a Haitian accent. And that's like a good place to learn how to, especially if you read like those fantasy books, you can get a good idea of what they sound like.
What were you going to say, Cassie?
I was just gonna say, I don't know much about Dungeons and Dragons, but just
Mhm.
listen to Jordan talk. I have a lot of respect for him. Just
Aw.
because, yeah, I mean, you could tell you put a lot of work into this. It's not something that you take lightly, and you care about the authenticity of the
Mhm.
game.
Mm,
So even you just taking the time to even research this,
Mhm.
to not just go on a whim and do what you
Mhm.
think
Mhm.
is appropriate, but being careful and crafting it in a respectful way.
Mhm.
I
mm,
have a lot of respect for you for that. That
mhm,
because you don't have to.
Mhm.
So that is
Yeah,
something that's admirable.
I think Dungeons and Dragons is an amazing tool for people to explore
mm.
different facets of their interests, but also like of
Correct.
themselves. There are some instances where Dungeons and Dragons has been used as like a therapy,
Mm.
same way that a lot of soldiers coming back from the initial
Oh yeah.
soldiers coming back from the initial invasion of Iraq, like they did studies to where when they came back, those with like identified PTSD, they had them play World of Warcraft for long periods of time, and that ended up like helping them a lot. Coming from a real world scenario where like things were very disjointed and you didn't have another uniformed enemy that you were fighting when that's the battle doctrine you were taught the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're just looking
Yeah.
for like dude in plain clothes. Or when I was there, it was like, okay, we have a be on the lookout. We've got a bolo for a gray Corolla. And it's like,
Right.
Mhm.
oh, I'm sorry, gray brown. I'm like, buddy, we're in a desert. It's a dust bowl out here. Everything's gray brown.
Mhm.
What do you mean?
Mhm.
So now everything's a threat. So like living in that like dog
Correct.
and
Mhm.
cage condition for so long, coming back and playing World of Warcraft where it's all like, I am a horde character. That is an
Mhm.
alliance character. Easy day. Like,
Mhm.
are we in an area where PvP is allowed? Yes. Fight.
Right.
Right? Like,
Mhm.
no. No fun. Right? Like,
You-
and that set clear, consistent boundaries for them to like reassociate, like, oh yeah, real world. Like
See,
when I
Cassie, you could use
like when
that
I
for your
came,
therapy
Yeah, I know.
because she's a
Dungeons and Dragons.
therapist, Jordan.
Yes.
oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
when I came back, like I looked at my wife and I was like, "Oh, we got to go grab some stuff from Walmart." She's like, "Okay, are you cool with that?" I'm like, "Of course I'm cool with that." And we got inside Walmart, and I got halfway back to like I think we needed batteries. I got like halfway back to electronics. I was like, "We need to go back to the car right now. We need to go back to the car right now." Like I've gone back into sergeant voice where I'm talking like this. I'm like, "We need to go back to the car right now. Please turn
yeah.
around. We need to go back to the car." And she's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I can't stop looking at everyone's hands because hands do the doing." And I'm like, I'm constantly looking at everyone around me as a threat. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't. It bothered me. And I was like,
Mm.
I don't like that at all. Um,
Did you try World of Warcraft as well?
oh yeah, as I mentioned before, I'm a super cool, very badass guy. Of course I played World of Warcraft.
Wait, hold
Yeah, I
on,
got into
because
that.
there are at least two people in this room who have not, and I keep telling them, even though I don't play anymore, like though that game helped carry me through so much stressful times because like you could
Yeah.
just say, you know what, all the nonsense of life that gets to take a back seat for a second. And like
Yeah.
it
So
actually
like
calms you down.
playing OG World of Warcraft, like
Hmm.
Wrath of the Lich King got released, like that's
Mm.
when I jumped in and everything. I was
Oh,
in college. All my dorm mates were
I was
playing
in vanilla alpha. Like I was at the start of it. Like my roommate came home and was like, "Dude, I got access to this game. You gotta check it out." And I was like, "What game is this?" And then he started playing. And then like I made a because of course I'm a mage, and he was the warlock, and like we kicked off that game, and I remember thinking to myself, this game is going to this is going to be one of the best games that ever released. And to this day they still release, like Blizzard as a company does not exist anymore really, and that game is still being maintained and built on and expanded. Like it'll never end. There will always be people playing World of Warcraft.
someone will keep the servers running. Like that is,
Yeah.
I can
Think about it
easily
for a
see,
second,
I can
because that
easily see
game
that
came
becoming like
out.
our generation's like Library of Alexandria. Like, no.
Yeah.
Someone will maintain this for as long as humanity exists. Because I remember in college, like I got into it. All my roommates
Hmm.
in my dorm were playing it. And they're like, "Dude, you got to go get it." So like one of my friends, Josh, drove me to the local GameStop to get a copy to install because you didn't just download things back then. Buy a copy to install. They were all out, and he's like, "Okay, bet we're gonna go to the next one." And we drove an hour from there to like go get another one. He's like, "You've got to do it. You've got to do it." I know that if we go back to the room and you don't have this game to install, you're going to be
Hmm.
thinking about it the whole time and it'll ruin your life. I was like, yeah, I don't want to ruin my life in college. I've still got all this ahead of me.
Oh, oh,
We do that. But
like
then when I got into probation and parole and I was
yeah.
dealing with people who like faced a lot of addiction issues, which
Mm,
like when I was a probation and parole officer, I was never really any good at it because like I didn't give a fuck about drugs. Like I don't care. I'm not gonna care. You're not gonna make me care. Like it
mhm.
by the end of it, I just felt very disenfranchised about the whole thing. I was like, wow, I can't believe that we've set up an entire system that is built around like making people criminally poor with drug court fees, testing fees, coming here to where they can't hold a job, like ruining like their day to day everything. Like I really disliked the way that the
The
justice
system
system,
is set
right?
up.
The law
Yeah.
enforcement system was built around that. So I got out of it, thank goodness. But like it was one of those things where people would be sitting there like at my desk, like it's not the worst day of their life because I was an EMT, so I've been out to people's worst day of their life before. But like people would come to my office and sit at my desk and they're just like, I'm just having a really hard time. And I'd be like, okay, tell me about that. And like, start going through the MRT stuff, like trying to work through like some of their issues and things. And they'd just be like, man, you just don't understand. You don't know what addiction's like. I'm like, bitch, I played World of Warcraft. I know exactly.
Bitch,
I know exactly what addiction feels. I'd wake up on Tuesday, have class at 10 o'clock. It's only 8:30 right now. I'm like, yeah, I got time to jump on, complete a couple of quests, whatever. Next thing I know, oh my God, what day is it? Why haven't I showered? Am I still hungry? Have I not? It's Thursday? Did no one think to stop me? Like, yeah, man, just all strung out because of my for the
Oh,
horde or whatever.
yes. Oh, yes. Like, especially when you got into raiding, like, you would be like, you know what? Listen, guys, you'd be like, guys, listen, just so you know, our raids, we're gonna raid for like 2 hours every day, every Tuesday and Thursday. And now remember, don't get upset when the 2 hour time limit hits because we all have families. We want to get back to them, and you make this agreement. And then
Yeah.
the first Tuesday you come and you're like, okay, we're playing. Yeah, we're going. Okay, yeah. Wait, what? Wait, it's Thursday already? Oh, I guess we get to continue playing. Let's play. Let's go. Let's go.
Look, that
Like you
simple
would play,
2 hour
the sun would
commitment is going
rise
to
and
turn
set and
into
you
the
wouldn't
best
notice.
4 hours of the next 10 hours of your life, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. The time just disappears when you're raiding because you're so into it. You're like, "Oh, I made a little bit more progress. He had 10% less life than last time. Let's go one more time. We can do it. We can do this. We got it this time. Oh, now we're at 10% less than the last time. Okay, let's go. We got this." And yeah, you don't stop. When you get into it, you don't stop. And it's
Speaking
like,
of World of Warcraft, Leroy Jenkins was in like the TikTok atmosphere this week. People kept bringing him up for some reason. I was like, Leroy's back. Woo-hoo!
yeah, he's like bell bottoms, keeps coming and going.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like we were saying, like World of Warcraft was like from back in like the early 2000, like 2003, 2004 ish was when it was released ish. And like from back then, I've had this on and off relationship with World of Warcraft where like after like my grades were like all A's and then they started to taper off, like I
Mhm.
had to actually break the CD so that I couldn't play it anymore. I was like, snap.
Mhm.
Remove it
Yeah.
from my computer, snap the CD because otherwise like that was my first time experiencing cold turkey like
It was
yeah.
a feeling, yeah. Like
Yeah.
it made you feel a certain kind of way, like the first time
Hmm.
you're like away from it for a while. Cause like I played for several years, got out of it, and then when I was at the depot guarding chemical weapons,
Hmm.
um, I worked a lot of night shifts, and like it's one of those jobs where you get paid to not necessarily do something, but for what you might have to do.
Yeah.
So like it was one of those deals. It's like, dude, go out there, do your checks, sit at your point, keep your radio on. Other than that, whatever you want to do, like ain't nobody going to ask a bunch of questions, because
Mm.
everybody else is justifying their phony baloney government job too.
Mm.
So like me and my buddy Eric, we got back into World of Warcraft because we were both like recovering World of Warcraft addicts, and so we bought computers and we just applied for a lot of
Relapse.
overtime. Hmm? Yeah, relapse. Like
Relapse.
we just applied for like all of the overtime nighttime shifts that we could get, and we
Hmm.
just round out everything through Shadowlands, you know, as adults. And there was that moment like where we were both kind of looking at each other like, man, we've done most of the content, and now it's just like daily stuff, or they want me to put something on my phone, and this does not feel very
Hmm.
respectful of my time anymore.
Hmm.
And they're like, okay, well, what do you do when you're trying to get over an addiction and you still have several night shifts that you have to get through? And the answer is replace it with another addiction. We got into Final Fantasy 14, um,
You're
which
not
is
heading in
like,
the right direction, my
That's
friend.
like coke to heroin
Right.
or
because
something like that. I don't know what
Final
drugs
But
are
Fantasy
Final
equal to what.
14,
Fantasy ends, though, to be clear.
Huh?
Final Fantasy actually ends, which
Mhm.
is
Yeah, exactly. It's
one.
just yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I do know
yeah,
that.
but
Yeah.
it's got like 400 hours of
Yes.
storyline content. Not 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 400 hours of like, oh yeah, and this is everything that I do. Like, no, that's 400 hours of like almost just cutscenes that you have to get through.
Mhm.
And you still have to play the game beside all of that. Like, thank
Did you?
goodness we worked in a job where we could get paid to do that. But like, yeah, I could not imagine having to do that on my time. Like,
Mhm.
so, but
Yeah.
yeah, we ended up playing through all of that. Um, But over all of these years since middle school, I've cobbled together like this homebrewed world that I let people, come in and explore different characters and play out
Mm.
different things. And I've just been so blessed, like in a very like Ready Player One, like James Halliday, like thank you for playing my game. Like
Thank
I
you for
I
playing.
love that moment, like at the end of a major story arc or a
Hmm.
Mhm.
campaign, or like, oh, these people are moving away, so like their characters are gone. Like we're gonna end this story, we're gonna make new characters, start a different story. Like in that moment, like closing everything out, like, and I get choked up sometimes, like at the table doing it. I'm like, thank you for playing my game. Like this
Mhm.
Hmm.
is insane. We got to do this. Like,
Yeah.
um,
No,
like
100%.
it's just
Yeah.
one of those moments for me, like getting to do that. So Cassie, if you ever want to play Dungeons and Dragons, like please come on down to Leadbetter.
And I
Cassie.
mean, like, what comes in a Dungeon and Dragon starter kit? Like, what are some things that I need to have or know?
Yeah, so the great thing about all of that is almost everything is available for free online, or the Dungeon Dragons community is typically like a bunch of people that are just all like, "Oh, you don't have a player's handbook? Here, have one of mine, like read through whatever you want." the the big problem is on the outset is analysis paralysis. People will look at like what is Dungeons and Dragons starter kit, and they'll be like, I need a set of dice, but then I should probably get a second set of dice, and then like a pretty set of dice, and then you dice goblin like my wife is, and she just has like a giant trash bag filled with click clack math rocks, um, which is fine.
Did
There's
you?
not a problem with that.
Sorry. Did you call her a dice goblin?
Mhm.
Yeah, that is an acceptable term. Like that's
Mhm.
not one of those like that's our phrase. You don't get to use it. Like like we're taking it back.
No,
Like no,
I've never heard of that name before, but like it's so true.
yeah,
It is beautiful.
like even myself, like years, like decades at this point. Oh, God, I'm so old. Like yeah, decades of being this kind of nerd. Like I'll start a long term game, or I'll start this new character. I'll be like, I really want a specific set of dice for this character, and it starts to feel like that set of dice is that character's. Like, oh, I'm playing, Alexander Church, my half orc cleric. Like he has
Mm,
this set of dice, and it's meaningful for that character versus
mhm,
like, oh, I'm gonna play, you know, what's one of my other oh, I'm gonna play Gilthus, I'm gonna play Yolo Swaggins, my half elf
Yellow Swagons.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've been playing this. I've been playing some version of this game, and the like ancillary games to it, like
mm,
3.0 and 3.5 went off and got bought out by Paizo.
mm,
So when Dungeons and Dragons Wizards of the Coast went on to fourth edition, all of the third edition stuff, Paizo basically crafted that into a game called Pathfinder, which
mm,
is a lot more mathy, a lot more granular. Like you can do a lot more character customization type stuff, which some people really enjoy. Versus like the way that Dungeons and Dragons went, it became like far more like narrative based
mm,
storytelling. Like there are rules and things that you want to follow for your character's special abilities. You want to be familiar with those, but it's
mhm,
really just about like telling this story. And it's the difference between somebody playing like Dragon Age versus somebody playing um BioShock, right? Like,
mm,
or somebody playing Fallout versus somebody playing Skyrim, right? Like, yeah, there are some games where like you get into the customer create or you get to the character customization screen and you're like putting in like individual points and trying to like come up with like, but how much luck do I need, right? Like, and you start like really getting into it. And then there are other games where it's just all like, you ain't got time. This ain't a cutscene. Press A. You're like, oh my, what happened? Why is everything on fire? We'll get to that next. You're like, okay. Like first time you played Resident Evil 4, and you're just like, oh my God, what's that boulder doing there? Why does it want me to press it? Oh my God. Oh my God. It's like, run, Leon.
so
So,
mm.
no, you go ahead. Oh, I'm
Oh no,
sorry.
I was just gonna say, so now that Cassie is going to become a Dungeons and Dragons character,
Yes.
I am going to have one minor request. As
Okay.
soon as Cassie starts playing Dungeons and Dragons, I want to know which character she identifies with. I really, really would like to know which character she identifies with
I'm
when it comes to
curious to
D&D.
see who I identify with. Like, am I gonna be like a warlock or like a box troll? Like, I'm really excited
Box
to
troll.
figure.
Box troll.
Yeah.
I've had a bunch of different people like play at my table, play my games. Like I got to DM over at the library and everything like that. Like what I have seen like as a like it's not necessarily like a rule, but we'll call it like this I don't know, like not more than a theory, but like a law, I guess, of physics or whatever.
Mm,
Like trying to disprove it. Like usually what happens is like the first time people create a character, that is the character that is most like them.
mm.
And then the second time they create a character, that becomes the character like, oh, that is the heroic version of me that the 8-year-old me always thought I should be.
Oh,
Like
okay.
that's usually what happens.
Mm.
And I saw it happen with my wife when she made her first character, which is a druid furbolg, so like a cow bear type person, who's a druid.
A
Like
cow
she made
bear.
that character.
It's very common to have these. Do you remember when we saw
I do.
Avatar? They
There
had
was a
like these.
there's a bear hawk person in that one with the little guy. That Vox Machina has a bear hawk person.
Yeah, yeah. So like
Yeah.
that's a very common practice in
Mhm.
in these in these in these games.
Mhm.
Yeah. So like I was working a lot of overnight shifts. I
Mm.
was, when I was a security guard in college at Murray State, like I got into Critical Role, like back when they first started, like the audio was terrible. Felicia Day would still show up from time to time and tell them to like keep making it because I said so. Like uh but like Matt Mercer and all of the other voice actors that were on there playing their home game
Mm,
on like live broadcast for us. Like
mm.
I got into that, and now it's just evolved over time to where like I have this parasocial relationship with all of them, where I'm just like, good for them. Like when like Critical Role like blew up, and then they got their own animated series and everything like that. It's just one of those things where you look at it, you're like, you guys deserve it. Good for you. Good for you. Do not know them. I've never met them. Like, but I'm just emotionally invested in all of them. Like, that's right, Travis. You do want to rage. Good for you, man. I like um but like if you've watched any Critical Role, like there are moments like in different seasons or everything like that. Probably the most poignant in my mind is there's this moment where like Sam Riegel plays the character of Scanlan Shorthalt. Scanlan Shorthalt has not been a one-off character, but he's not been like like he's a bard, which is the quintessential like best fifth character at the table kind of thing. Like if you go by like the traditional like player party setup, you have one character to deal damage, one character to heal damage, one character to control the enemy, and then
Mm.
you have one character, like let's see, one to take damage, one to deal, one to
Damage
control
dealer,
the other.
Zeus all the time, baby.
No.
So like when you do all that, like okay, well who's the fourth character? Like oh well, typically like the bard makes a perfect
Yeah,
one. Like they're good at
because he
skills,
he
they're good at
handles
every
buffs and things like
Mhm.
that, but can
yeah.
also mediate certain other things. Yeah.
So Sam plays this character who is, kind of like a skirt chasing bard, he's a
Of course, he's a
halfling. So like
skirt chasing
yeah.
bard.
So like they have all these moments and like throughout all of this, like, he's very happy, he's very, like not one note, but like there are these underlying themes and like none of the other characters at the table like really delve into that. So then
Mhm.
like most of the way through the campaign, the
Mm.
first campaign for Vox Machina, like most of the way through the first half of it, there's a moment where like they're looking at Scanlan, the rest of the party is, and
Mm.
he's just like, yeah, you see me as this, and that's all. And I've been here for you, and I've been here for you, and I've helped you with this, and none of you even fucking know me. And like and like all you're like, oh my God. And they're just like, no, of course we know you. And he's like, oh yeah, what's my mother's name?
Mm.
And they've been playing this game for years at this point. And like all of the other characters at the table are like, what? Yeah, my mother, the most important person in my life, the one that got killed by goblins, that started the whole idea of why I became an adventurer with you. What's my mother's name? And none of them could answer it. He's like, that's why I'm leaving. And then like Scanlan left and like Sam brought in a different character and there was just this moment where like this happy, fun, like we're gonna be heroes game like got like ground to a halt, and like you felt this emotional weight from a game at this
Mhm.
table. People you've been playing for years, and you're like, wow. And I've seen that kind of stuff happen at my table to where
Mhm.
people are just all like, oh yeah, absolutely. My character does this.
Mhm.
But can you tell me anything else about this character? Like, and then like above the table, like all of the or all of the players are just like,
Mm.
yeah, man, like the entire time, like I'm the dungeon master, like I've been taking notes, like, and you all have just been waiting for your turn to talk.
Mm.
Like you haven't been active listening, you haven't been yes anding, you haven't been no butting, you haven't been like, like especially with younger players, like you'll see
Mm.
them like, I want to create like this loner Aragorn Strider character. And you're like, okay, cool, yeah, go for that. Like angsty, why not? Like,
Mhm.
yeah, go for it, man. And then like you get to that first part of the game where they're just like, okay, let's go on this adventure. And then they're just like, why should I? And I'm like,
Mhm.
hey pal, we're here to play a game.
Right.
If you didn't want to play an adventurer, why did you build one? Like
Mhm.
I can let the rest of these guys go off and have this awesome adventure that we've decided we want to have, and you can just have death by farming, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm
no one
actually
wanted to take
curious
me
to
on an
know.
adventure, so I have to go dig potatoes. Like, yeah, go for it. Like,
Dig
or you can
potatoes.
play with all of us. Work with me here. Like,
Mhm.
Have you ever had someone that pulled a Leroy Jenkins?
yeah, two things. So I've had, I yes. So
Jim
I
Morty.
had I've had two things happen. Like one, when I was in middle school,
Mhm.
the first game that I played at, like my friend Philip's brother, Big Tom, who was an adult, ran this whole game for us, and it
Mhm.
was amazing, right? Like so middle
Mhm.
schoolers, like we come over to my friend Philip's house, like me and Philip and Derek and Thomas, like we all sit at this table and we engage in like this collective imagination, this group collective hallucination based around a story. Like we get to do all of that, and that was
Mhm.
phenomenal for us, right? And
Mhm.
we had someone who started the game with us, and his name was DJ, and DJ got ran over in conversation,
Mhm.
and there weren't any story beats where his character like got to shine. And like looking back on it, I see all this now, like in the
Mhm.
moment, like I'm just trying to get my monk to the next person to punch, right? Like my
Mhm.
whole, like as a young teenage boy, like this fist needs to find a face, so let's go, right? Like, and that's all I was trying to do. And kind
Mhm.
of everybody was doing that. And it got to a moment where like in one of the dungeons that we were in, like very early on, like they're just like, okay, you open up a chest and you find XYZ, and you find a bottle, that looks like poison. And he goes, okay, I drink it. And like the DM, like Big Tom, is like, hey buddy, like that definitely is poison. Maybe I didn't make it clear by saying it looks
When I said looks like poison.
that definitely will kill you. And he's like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I don't want to play this game anymore with you guys. And it's like, oh.
Mhm.
And looking back on it now, I'm
Wow.
like, shit, I suck so bad. Like
Mhm.
that, hormone fueled
Mhm.
narcissistic mentality. I'm like, I
Mhm.
did not know how I was affecting other people around me. And that stuck with me this whole
Mhm.
time. So like years later, when I'm DMing for kids that were, my age back then, like when I'm DMing for them and I see somebody, I'm like, hey man, pause for a second with what you're saying. He had a really good point. Don't we want to explore that? And
Mhm.
like you get to see like this kid who like created, a dwarf fighter named Bob Evans for every game that we've been in. He's like, yeah, I do have an idea for this. And you're like, shouldn't we check that out? He's like,
Mhm.
Mhm.
yeah. Like, and then everybody gets on board with it. I'm like, oh God, I just avoided a DJ. Thank goodness. Like, because that's
Mhm.
what I'm constantly worried about, because I want people to have fun. Like everybody else at the table is playing their specific character. I'm playing the world and everything they're not.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And at the
That's
end of a session, like I am just emotionally drained. Like the same way,
yeah.
like when I was a firearms instructor, at the end of like a day, like I'm hot, I'm sunburned, I've been out there, my voice is hoarse because I've been watching everybody to make sure they're safe. Like one of my safety speeches in the Kentucky Army National Guard for like ranges was always like, hey guys, this is the stuff on the commercial. This is the fun part, right? Like we get to go
Mhm.
out there and throw rounds. We all deserve to have a safe, kick-ass experience and go home and tell our families what a great day we had doing this.
Mm.
So let's not be dumb. Like
Mhm.
muzzle awareness, finger off the trigger, right? Like don't point it at me and keep your booger hook off the bang switch. Got it? And they're like, Roger, like, and then we go out and have a great day. So
Mhm.
like when we do the game, at the end of the game, like I'm just as emotionally exhausted and drained at the end of the game, like doing that for everybody else. And the only thing I want to know is like, hey guys, like we explored a bunch of stuff, like we hit some major plot points, like everybody got to have their moment or whatever. Like all I want to know is like, did you have fun? And that sounds like such a
Mhm.
stupid thing, right? Like for an adult who had other adults come over and we all imagined together in my living room, like, but I'm just
Mhm.
like, did you all have fun? Like that's the
Mhm.
only metric of success I have as a DM for this whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
You'd
so like
be
on the one
you'd be
hand, so like the first
surprised.
experience was DJ. The second experience is like I am doing the DM thing at the library, and one of the kids there, like he just plays a wizard because he wants to be a wizard, and like he does that in pretty much all the games that we play. Like they're usually just one-off sessions each time,
Mm.
because it's a circulation of kids that get to come and do it every time. So like you try and do a new thing every time, and but he mostly plays a wizard. And there's one moment where like I'm looking at him, and let's just say Caden, like his name's Caden,
Mm.
uh, uh, and there's one moment where he's just all like, okay. I cast Fireball, and I'm like, that's awesome, buddy. That's definitely a spell that you can cast. Let me go ahead and make sure that you understand. Like you're in a 15 by 15-foot room. That spell is going to go up, and he cuts me off. This kid cuts me off, and it's just the meme where he's like, I didn't ask how big the room was. I cast Fireball, and I was like, let's learn some things about ourselves today. Absolutely, roll that damage, kid. Roll it. So good, right? Like who's mostly been like timid the entire time,
Mhm.
like through a couple of sessions. Like now he's just like cutting me off, the adult,
Mhm.
right? He's like, I don't think you heard me. I said explosions.
Explosions. Uh,
Now you do know your other party members in there, like they can take it. I'm like, I bet they can. Let's find out.
That's not the point.
I'm excited to see. Here's 5d8, man. Like, let's see.
Right.
Like, yeah. So like it's one of those moments where I'm like, yeah, we get to see people like coming into their own, like, oh, dope.
You know, you know, I've discovered in my time working as a people manager that some people you can't actually just like there are some people who can listen and take advice and like are willing to learn from that, and some people just have to learn when like the whole room blows up on them. And there are just sometimes those people, and like
Some people have
while
to experience these teachable moments for
yeah.
Mhm.
themselves. Like,
And like the thing that's interesting about it is sometimes, not always, sometimes though, they bring some moments that like also introduces some excitement in the environment too. It's not ideal,
Mhm.
but sometimes they do also bring some excitement to it because like it- I've had times where I've told people like because as a manager I need to make sure that these people learn how to be self-sufficient because I'm not going to be all the time. When I go on vacation, they need to, be able to pick up things and keep things rolling while I'm out. And oftentimes I find myself going like, listen, we probably shouldn't do that. And because this and this is going to happen, they're like, that likely isn't going to be a case, man. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. And I'm going to be like, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Um, hey, project manager, this project is probably going to be delayed by about a week or two because like someone has to go and sweep up the mess after everything goes explodey.
Yeah, the
And
fireball
so,
in the 15-foot room.
and so like I find myself oftentimes going like, oh, okay, this is one of those moments. Hey PMT, like I'm gonna need you to move the date from here to here. This is gonna become a little bit of a problem. I let them learn because oftentimes, like, and I never do the "I told you so" thing. Like I just let them learn. I'm going like, okay, let's fill the cause of error and put something in place to make sure this never happens again. Let's write a doc. What did we learn? What can we share with everyone so that everyone understands this in the future? Document it. Let's move on. And then eventually you'll find those people are oftentimes like, maybe I should listen to this person after the first two or three
In
times
the
that.
military as a squad leader, one
Mm,
thing that I always told everybody, because you have to go out and do these exercises and drills, and like, by the end of it, it's like a check the block thing, but
mm,
like in the moment of like doing it, I was just like, hey guys, if you've got a better idea on how to do something that we're about to do, like I'm the
mm,
squad leader here. Ultimately, like I'm in charge for this one
mm,
particular thing. Like, so if I say no, like I can explain why. I'm not saying no to say no. But
mm,
like if you've got the secret sauce, like let's try it. Everybody comes from all these different walks of life, and our battle doctrine is written off of the last war. So it doesn't have anything to do with the next one that we're going into.
mm.
So like if you've got an idea, we got time, man. Like this is the drill weekend. Like we're win, lose, or draw until end of Sunday. So like if you want to try it and you feel convicted about that, right? Like I have this conviction, I want to try this thing. Like, yeah, let's try it. Let's throw some spaghetti on the wall. Let's see what sticks. If it doesn't work out, we'll go back and do it the way the book says, or what the battle doctrine is, or the teaching. Like we'll do that, and then we'll explore like where things differed and why. Because
Mm.
I always want to be able to explain things two different ways. Like I want to be able to explain it scientist or caveman, because some people don't really know. Like yeah, like look, guy from the future comes down from the sky, like sees a bunch of caveman, and like they're trying to make a fire, and like like you can't explain like angle, epigee, friction rates, like trying to get these two sticks or whatever. Like all you can do is like two sticks, rub, 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 and that's all you can get sometimes, right? Like put three
Mm.
ugga duggas on it, spark, boom, fire, right? Like
Yeah.
sometimes that's it, and other people want to know the science, they want to know the why, so they like big brain thinking, like they want to know the
Yeah.
why so that they can apply it to other things later on, like and draw correlations, like this fits with that. This looks similar to the thing that I tried before. Why would we not
Mm.
do that? Like,
Mm.
so I always like to do that.
Cassie, do you ever have any examples like that in school with the students and stuff? You're muted. Yeah, someone was doing the lawn outside of our house, so that's why
Mm.
she muted it. You're still muted.
Like at this point, just mime it out. Like you're good. Like, don't like, we'll charades it.
No,
Yay.
no, for sure. Look, I muted myself because there was so much noise, and then I forgot how to unmute it. So that's fine. Um, yeah, definitely. I mean, anytime you have an authoritative role or position over people, you kind of see that anyway. But
Mm.
uh, the kids are no exception to the rules.
Mhm.
See it sometimes. Yeah. I try to ignore it. I don't like being an authority or the disciplinary person. So,
Oh, I
uh,
am. I am. I've learned that, in my experience, um, there's some points where you might have to do that for the sake of everybody,
Mhm.
and sometimes you just have to lay down the law.
yeah.
Unfortunately, you'd
Yeah,
be
in my
surprised at how much. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, man.
Oh no, I was saying you'd be surprised at how often like you'll run into people that really do not have the slightest idea what they're doing, and they
Yeah.
potentially like take out like all the work that everyone else is doing. So sometimes you really do have to do that. But oftentimes like the trick is knowing when to be that person versus be the person that's
Mhm.
like, you know what, let them learn.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you have to find that right balance. Like, and I do that with my kids too. Like, at certain points, it's like, oh, they're about to play with like the stove. That's a no. But like sometimes when they're out doing something and like they're like, "Hey, Dad, look, I can do this on my scooter," and I'm like, you know what? They're gonna learn.
Okay.
They're gonna learn.
Like the whole time with my kid so far, like anytime he's doing something, like I'm not trying to tell him no, and I'm not trying to like tell him what to do, like,
Mm.
and like he's a baby, like he's not two yet, so like he doesn't get all of it. But like I just for myself and my own feelings, like I'm usually just like, "What's the plan? I see what you're trying to do. What's the plan? Tell Dad the plan, because like I don't
Mhm.
know, and I just want to be and like, do you feel safe? Do you need me to up? Like, do you feel safe?
You just want to know whether you need to go inside really quick and get the first aid kit from now, or if everything's gonna.
Yeah.
Because
Is
yeah,
Dad about to is Dad
in
about to have to
particular
dust
with
off his
kids,
EMT training?
yeah, in particular with kids, like it's really important that they get some time to learn.
Ab-
Like, yeah, it's really important. Like you can't like people that spend all the time like babying their kids and protecting them, like all of this ties into their learning process, and so I'm all about that. Like, but there is a certain point where you have to kind of be the
yeah.
authoritarianist. Is that the right word?
Oh, okay.
Did I say that right?
Authoritative.
Yeah, I have to be
Authoritative.
that.
Yeah.
And yeah, you might have to be the person that spoils the fun.
Mm.
I tell my kids all the time
Mhm.
when I try to tell them stuff or give them advice or try to prevent them from touching the hot stove. I look them dead in the face and I know I'm like, you're not taking any of this in right now. You're not listening to a word I'm saying and
Mhm.
believing it. But I hope one day you experience life and can come back to this moment and use it later in life because you are not listening to one word. I've been where you are, and I know
Mm.
that you're not listening because I didn't listen.
Mhm.
So I hope that you can hold on to this, hold space for this advice and use it later on in life.
Please
Mm.
bookmark this moment. It will come up again.
Yes, it will.
If this is a Telltale's game, it'll say Jordan
Right.
will remember this right up here.
Yeah.
That's
Because like
funny.
Um,
just in like my home game or whatever, like with adults, not even with kids, but like in my home game, right?
Mhm.
Like Brian, Dwayne, you remember Brian, right?
yeah.
Like
Mhm.
yeah, also another army guy and everything, has an amazing wife. Like they got to participate in our home game and they were doing that with Strahd. And Brian was very much like, okay, we're gonna play this game for 4 hours, right? And I was like, yes, 4 hours. He's like, cool. I run into the next room. Like that's all he kept doing. Like,
Mm.
like
Aw.
He was spying on me at my desk. I was minding my business.
I wouldn't say spying. I'm pretty
Also,
sure I'm messaging you on Teams right there in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
picture. Like,
He was messaging me. I'm right next to him. I'm like, yeah.
that's
I'm sure I
hilarious.
sent you that exact picture on Teams, like while I
Yes,
was
you
talking
did.
to
That's
you.
how I knew it. You were still playing
Yeah.
That's funny.
But like
with me.
with Brian for the home game, he's like, okay, we only got 4 hours to play this game, and I was like, yes, 4 hours, and then everybody has a life. I'm trying to be respectful of your time. He's like, cool. I run into the next room, and I'm like, please stop. He's like, got to keep it pushing, and I'm like, dude, stop, everybody, because he's doing the Leroy Jenkins, and what ended up happening is like. In this one game, it was Death House, which is the beginning of Curse of Strahd, like the optional portion, like you can do to like onboard players to this game, this idea, and they had never
Mm.
played before, so I'm like, this is perfect. Let's use that. And what ended up happening is like he kept running into like animated objects. Like
Mm.
there's a broom and there's a suit of armor and there's all this stuff. Like he would like run upstairs and run into this suit of armor that came to life and attacked him, and then like he killed it before the rest of the party got up there. So now he's like banged up, bruised, nearly dying, and and they're just like, so you ran into a suit of armor, and he's like, it was alive, and he's like, we didn't shoot it. And then he did it again. Like there's an animated broom in a closet. Like he walked into the closet to check it out. This broom just starts whooping his ass. And like, and of course, like I'm the broom as the DM, and I'm just like, you're gonna learn today. That's what's gonna happen.
Today.
They'll keep
Get
doing
beat up from a
this.
broom.
And then keep doing, yeah. So like it ended up like keep doing this, like, and then by the time the party got there, there's like, what happened? Are you okay? He's like, and they're like, you tripped over a broom and nearly died. He's like, was alive. And like, So now since I've done this to him like twice, like he is absolutely paranoid about going anywhere by himself. Good. And
Mhm.
two, like he is paranoid about everything that I describe in a room to where like he's a warlock, so he just
Mhm.
like uses Eldritch Blast like blasted, right? Like so now he's just like I walk into the room and I'm blasting. I'm
Shoot
blasting.
first, ask questions last. Just blow up everything in the room.
You just
Over
killed
there,
the MCP
blasting.
that was supposed to give you all the information you
The
need to win the
NPC.
game. Game over.
It wasn't even NPCs. It was just inanimate objects. It's everything
Yeah.
that I kept throwing at him that were already built into this game. He's all like, He said, you said there's a toaster in the corner. He's like, yeah. And he's like, that's a Decepticon. Like, he ain't risking nothing. I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
cool. But like the rest of the party is just like,
What is wrong with him?
What does he have against decor? Like,
Mhm.
we can't take him to a Bed Bath and Beyond. Like, this would be a problem.
Like,
Um.
the group decide to take a break and like they pull out a coffee mug and they're like, oh, take, and all of a sudden, bam, the coffee mug explodes. He shot it.
What
Don't
happened?
trust that.
Looked at me
It's
weird.
inanimate. It can kill us.
Looked at me weird. Like, yeah, like, and that became like an ongoing like thing, which was hilarious, right? Like,
That's funny.
the other thing is that I had another couple that were in that game, Charlie and Hiyori.
Mm.
Charlie got to play a wizard. He wanted to explore like his Harry Potter lifestyle, but he wanted to be like necromancer because he wanted to make it dark and edgy, which is super cool. Yeah, absolutely. This is a great place to do that in this game of like nothing but undead creatures. Why wouldn't you want to control them? Like that's a great idea. So like we walked through that. His wife Hiyori is Korean and she speaks English, well, but like she speaks Korean. So like we just made her character a fairy, and I'm just like, your fairy language, the only language you know, because you don't speak common like everybody else, is Korean. And what do you know? Like Charlie's character, the wizard, speaks fairy Korean. So like we just have her. So instead of her like trying to like awkwardly muddle through trying to get everything just right in this game, I'm like, just speak normal. Don't worry about it. And then like
very good.
yeah, and like
Very
she would
good.
just text me because of like Google Translate, like what she wanted to do, and then I would text her back, Google Translate, and like everything back would be fine. But she played a fairy that was a druid, and she focused only instead of like spell casting, she focused on transforming into animals. Like she was a circle druid. But like she wanted to be a pretty animal every time, which was perfect. But what was even better is like getting to describe this to the rest of the table, how like their little tiny like pixie fairy just flew into a room and turned into the eldritch nightmare that is a hyena with a hot pink mohawk. And just jawbones this sorcerer down, like just kills it in the most graphic way possible. And then she pops back up all K-pop demon hunter, like, haha, like that's my character, that's my player. Look at her go, like she's really getting it, like
That's
I want to turn into a snake that has wings, and I'm like, there's a flying snake in the book. I don't even have to do much work on this. That's great. She's like, but I want it to look like this, and she shows me like a bedazzled jeweled serpent, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to show this to everybody at the table. Are you cool with that? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, here's what she turns into. They're like,
that's actually kind of cool. Is that something they commonly do? Like I know they do have like shapeshifters, but do people actually bring their own artwork to show what they envision their characters are like, or is that something she just did?
oh no, literally in the most literal way possible. It is a create your own adventure kind of game. So like for me, anything that players want to bring about their character like to the table, like I try and make sure like they have a moment to showcase it. It's really easy to just be like, you all meet at a tavern, go do the thing. But I like for characters like in different moments to like punctuate or like actually like detail their character, like what they're doing. Like, had one character that was Aurora Wind River, and she was a storm sorcerer and had a lot of like storm from the X-Men type powers and everything. But to keep people from just imagining Aurora Monroe. Like I was just like, okay, cool. Like, what does your character look like in this moment? She's like, my frizzy auburn hair is being lifted by the static electricity, and I'm like, and it's all playing off of your copper colored skin. And she's like, yes, absolutely. And I'm like, so now we're just like geeking out about these
Yeah.
details and trying to incorporate like all the senses. Like the scent of acrid ozone is starting to fill the air, like, and then of course she just immediately like pivots and just like, what happens to a toad when it gets hit by lightning, like,
Same thing that happens to everything else.
right? Like
Mhm.
when she first explored her like thunder powers, I was just all like, we talked about it the last game, and then the start of the next game, that's when she, did thunder shock, like thunder wave, like everything around her in, the immediate area gets like destroyed or whatever. And like me, it's like this maestro of mayhem. I queue up on the TV speakers. I'm like, thunder from ACDC.
Mhm.
Like, so now I'm just orchestrating this battle to AC/DC every turn, and I'm letting people know, I'm like, be thinking about what your character does because they're on deck. You're after him. What do you do now? And they're like doing that. So like now we're just steamrolling through this absolute set piece of like a Final Fantasy, boss battle. I'm like, yeah,
That's
Well,
like,
awesome.
it sounds like you are the person to play Dungeons and Dragons with. So I'm afraid we're gonna have to find some time to go to Kentucky and take part in a set.
I actually have another friend in Kentucky. He's also a dice goblin. In his bag, he has this super fancy, and I'm not saying that this is his Dungeons and Dragons bag. I'm telling you his general bag that he came to work with every day. He has a fancy dice set with like lightning inside of this onyx looking dice. And I'm like, and it's like 3D hollowed out lightning. I'm like, this is so sick. And he just pulled it out one day. I was like, what the hell is that? He's like, oh, these are my die. I'm like, for what? He goes, oh, Dungeons and Dragons. I'm like, what? So yeah, so I met a couple people that was like that. Like,
You
whoa, that
gotta
was
be
awesome.
hardcore. You
Yeah.
can't
for the
just
long, yeah. For years, I carried around one of my D20s, the first D20 I ever had. For years, I carried that around, and I was just like, I need to make a decision, evens and odds, yes, no, and then I just roll it. And I was like, like, problem solved. I don't have to think. Like, just automate my success, whatever the dice says.
Actually, that's actually an interesting idea. Like, I wonder how many people who play Dungeons and Dragons actually go, you know what? I'm gonna make decisions with these things.
Yeah, like all of them,
It's,
like pretty
it
much all of
should
them
take a
that I
lot of
know.
stress off of your mind. Like, what should I wear today? Roll the dice.
Roll
The
the
sample
dice.
size of one, like almost everybody I've ever played with has like shared a moment of like, yeah, I just let that happen. Like we just
It's like, you know what? I don't know what I want to eat today.
Roll the dice.
Yeah, that's the perfect idea for when you're going on dates and the person you're dating. Oh, what do you want to eat? I don't know. Roll the dice.
Roll the dice.
Yeah.
That's why I was gonna say my partner would love that system. He would love it. He would
Are
have
you,
it.
well, are you someone who prefers to like just like go with the flow and whenever people
No,
ask you?
yeah, I'm like, I don't care. And then they list something. I'm
No, I don't want that
like,
today.
are you sure that's what you want?
Yeah.
Megan and I both have like the ADHD brain squirrels, like trying to like talk about anything. So like
Mhm.
years ago, we got a giant whiteboard, and
Mhm.
like we'll be talking about one thing, and then we'll like quickly like, squirrel, and like we'll look at another thing, and then we
Uh-huh.
just like write down a topic like on the whiteboard until we like erase things and go back up the list. Like, okay, we have completed one conversation now, full circle. That's great.
Dude, this
And like
podcast has
and
a
the best part,
document with stuff like that, and we never get to go to this document. I've been like deleting chunks of the document and going back up chunks of the document because there's so much stuff that we have to talk about in this podcast. But it's just like, psh.
We never get to them.
We never.
Exactly. That's why it's called randos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Cassie, get yourself a D20 and a whiteboard and just write down like restaurants, like 1 through
I
20,
know.
and then just roll the D20 and be like, all right, cool. That's it.
Here we
That's
are.
what
That's what we're eating. That's it.
Mhm.
fate has decided.
And
As it
whenever he
turns out,
goes like, I don't want that, you had your opportunity to pick.
Yeah, right, right.
you sacrificed your authority on this decision to the die, and now we
To
are
the guy.
beholden to
Mhm.
yeah.
You can
Well,
make, but
I
make
have
sure
to
you get a
know
cool die.
Spaghetti.
It doesn't have to just be a regular white die with the black dots or the black numbers. Go fancy. Like I said, my friend had it was black and it had lightning holographic inside. I'm like, now I'm thinking about it, I'm getting one of those right now. As soon as this podcast ends, I'm gonna go find a cool looking die for no reason. Just to have
I'll I'll put a sign up that says the die does not lie.
the die does not lie.
So that way, like the decision is final, whatever the dice say,
Mhm.
this is it.
The die
Yeah,
does
and,
not
The
lie.
die does not lie.
Yeah, in D&D, it's like let the dice tell the story. Like let it happen. Like everybody wants this amazing, cool character that never does anything wrong, but then eventually you roll like a natural one, like which is just an automatic fail, and it's just like
Yeah.
Yeah, is there a
How many-
default
how many
like
time
what the
have
dice
people-
means? Like one is negative, 20 is positive, etc.
It depends on what you're rolling for, but yeah, it
Mhm.
oftentimes has that.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
in video games like random number generation, like all that happens behind the scenes. Like
Mhm.
at the table, like you're rolling these different die to correlate to
Mhm.
different things. Your
Mhm.
D20 is normally like your success versus failure, like
Mhm.
and then you have things that you either add or subtract to it depending on your character. Like, oh, I have a
Mhm.
martial character who's really good at melee combat. I roll my D20 and I add +10 because I'm a badass, right? Like,
Mm.
Mhm.
okay, cool. It has to meet a certain armor class for the enemy to
Mhm.
hit.
To hit that, yeah.
Yeah, so you do that, right? Or unlocking this treasure chest is going to be, a 15
Lock
difficult.
picking.
You get 15 or better on your lock
Mhm.
pick, so like you'll have the rogue come up there and be like, yeah, no problem. I've got a +15. There's no big deal. And then he rolls a
Oh,
1, which is an automatic failure. And it's like,
yeah, but plus 15. Okay, so you got 60. All right, that's cool. All right.
and then you as the DM have to explain why that happened. You're just all like, yeah, I know it's the craziest thing. Like it's not you, it's your tools. Like your
Mhm.
actual lockpick snapped. Like it
Mhm.
looks like it just got brittle over time. Maybe you weren't cleaning it at night. There's some
Mhm.
It's like,
rust
you
actually.
suck at cleaning your lockpicks, sir.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I don't know, man. His sun was in your eyes, like something. You're like you just gotta,
All right.
like you
Yeah.
were in the middle of doing this thing that you've done 1,000 times, and then all of a sudden you remembered, like, oh no, I had Qdoba earlier.
Oh my God.
Yep,
Shout out to Qdoba.
that's legitimately a one roll right there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Qdoba is a good
Yeah.
Or like the wizard is just like, I want to punch that guy in the face. And I'm like, okay, just to make sure that you understand, you are the quintessential glass cannon. Like
Exactly. You're a wizard punching people.
you are made of sponge sugar and paper mache. You want to engage in fisticuffs
Mhm.
with
Right.
that barbarian. And they're just like, yeah, I'm really mad about it. I'm like, okay, let the dice tell the story, man. And then they roll a natural 20. I'm like, he shouldn't have called your mom there. Do you something deep inside of you that you didn't know you had?
Yeah.
And nobody took notice.
He casts a Shura you can spell.
Yeah.
You know, what you didn't know is that like he powered that fist up.
Yep.
All the energy that he saved all throughout his life went into
Mhm.
this one punch.
Yeah.
And then his fist exploded after, but the character is dead.
Yep.
The other person's dead. The other guy, you should have seen the other guy.
I gotta end
Gotten
today's
this-
podcast because I have other events that I have to attend to. However, one of the topics that we did not get into with Jordan is my comic book guy. So, Jordan, you're gonna have to come back and
Right.
Jordan
and
is
we
like
have
a
to talk
jack
about
of
comic
all
books.
trades.
Exactly. Exactly.
Comic books, big on comic books. Shout out to
Mhm.
Heroes Realm, sponsors of this. Thanks so much, Heroes Realm, Stephen.
Mhm.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
thank-
Heroes Realm over there in Lexington. If you ever want to get into comics, big fan of them.
Mm.
Love it.
Yeah, thanks a ton for coming out.
Yeah,
Jordan.
thanks. We enjoyed
It was awesome.
And for getting me abreast to the D&D world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. Would love to have you at the table, Cassie.
Well, I'm gonna see. Listen, y'all are serious. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna I want. Do y'all allow guests?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
You mean
Yeah,
like
that's
wait,
how it
when you
is. That's
say
how Dungeons
guests,
and Dragons
sorry,
are. You just bring
when
people
you
in.
when you mean guests, you mean spectators, right?
Spectators,
Yeah,
yes.
she means like when you say guest, it means like someone that doesn't normally play with the group. But I think you mean you want to be a spectator just to
Like
see
I'll
how it goes.
listen,
Yeah.
but I won't get cast with like a rock spell or something like that. I'll just watch
Oh no,
it.
you will 100% get hit by a rock spell by accident.
Okay.
Especially when the guy walks into the 15 by 15-foot room and go,
Yeah, but
fireball. She's gonna be on the
No,
wall, just blow up,
as,
up
as
against
a
the wall.
DM, as a DM, my like pull the parachute ripcord, like, okay, I'm done with all of this. Like, I give the players a warning. I'm just all like, you need to act right, or I will trauma bond us all right here, right now.
right.
And if they keep pushing it, it gets to a point where it's just all like, okay, we're done with this. Like I just say,
Mhm.
rocks fall, everyone dies. Like whatever. Like you were in this dungeon
Whatever.
and it was unsound. There was a tunnel
Mhm.
collapse. Like turns out everyone died. I hate that. Roll new characters. We'll meet next week.
We'll
Like,
meet
Wow.
next week.
Mhm.
Good.
All right. Thanks again, guys, for coming out. Don't forget to like,
Thanks.
comment, subscribe, share.
thanks
We're
for having
always
me.
here. Jay Morton is going
Thanks,
to be back next week.
Jordan.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us today, Jordan. And you're always welcome to come back, even though I've been asking you for a year. Just come on back.
I don't know why I fought it so hard. Like now I know what love is and
Exactly, dude. I've been telling you this from.
everything.
Yeah.
All
All right.
right.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
Take care.
guys. Have a good week.
Take care.